fearless co-hosts Isaac and Larry force each other to watch the worst pieces of shit on Netflix. We will go over every bad edit, all the broken dialogue, all the wooden acting, and laugh along the way, because this is the Bowels of Netflix! Alright, welcome to the Bowels of Netflix. We are here again, and it's gonna be a time. It's really gonna be a time. My name's Isaac, and my co-host is Larry. How are you doing, Larry?
I am ready to go and kick some drug dealer, scummy city gangbanger ass.
Well, the wheels of justice turn violently.
The wheels of justice turn at the pace Steven Seagal chooses them to turn at.
Well, I don't trust the Justice Department anymore just because of that sentence.
Yeah, he is Trump's next slated pick for Secretary of Defense.
I would not be surprised.
And
I really wouldn't.
His plan is to just launch himself at the foe and take them out with combinations of judo and knifing.
It might work. I'm willing to try anything at this point. Who knows? Okay, so this is the Bowels of Netflix. Hopefully you've been listening along. We're on episode 7 now, so we're churning along pretty good. The idea of this podcast is that me and Larry hate each other, so we try to find the shittiest movie we can possibly dig up in the bowels of Netflix.
Oh yeah, you're human slime.
Yeah, I'm fully aware. But so are you, so that's good.
Yeah.
And we force each other to watch these terrible movies and then describe them back to the other in excruciating detail. We do live on the internet. You can find us on, Facebook and the Twitter, I believe. Those are Bowels of Netflix at Twitter. I don't know. You can figure it out. You're savvy, probably. If you want to, do a substantial conversation with us and really get into the weeds, or send us naked pictures, bowelsofnetflix@gmail.com. And, we'd love to hear from you, hear any suggestions for movies or tips for the podcast, and if we like your email enough, we might read it on the air. So there's that. And you should like us and subscribe and Facebook, flick us, friend us, twiddle us? Mm-hmm. What is it? How do you do the social media?
Oh, I don't know. You're older than me, but we share the same amount of old manishness and not knowing how them damn kids do stuff.
Yes, we have Snapchat and Beelzebub.
Like me on Facebook, snap me on chat, Beezle my bub.
Poke. I forgot it was Poke. I'm dumb.
Yeah, poke me on Tinder. No, wait, you swipe right on... I fucking know what Tinder is. Swipe right on Tinder.
We should get on Twinder, yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god, Isaac. Alright, fucking stop the recording because we need to go to the patent office and make Twinder.
This is a $1 billion idea.
The twin dating app. Holy shit.
Oh my god, wouldn't it be great to fuck twins? Identical twins.
Pull that for the next teaser video.
It'd be like a three-way, but it wouldn't count.
But it wouldn't count.
It wouldn't, because they look the same.
Yeah, it's true. Please see Isaac at his other podcast, Womanizer. The Womanizer Cast.
What, Pedophile Corner? I thought that was the main secondary podcast.
Yeah, that's the other podcast we host, but that's on the
Womanizer Cast. Yeah,
that's on the deep web.
I got a lot of projects.
There's Grindr Cast where we talk about Grindr. You can find me. You can poke me on JDate.
Oh god!
Fucking god! What is this show?
So much social media. It's preposterous. Anyway, this week, what movie do you have, Larry?
I have a movie called Code of Honor.
Well, that sounds like a stand-up flick. Maybe it's based on like a Tom Clancy novel, and you got Tom Cruise starring in it, and maybe, what's his face, Sean Connery's like the wizened old man in the background. Is that what we're looking for? No?
It's like that. It's a lot like that. Except it's Steven Seagal and one of the people from Perfect Sisters.
No.
So you're almost right. It's very, very close. And just as a minor disclaimer, Isaac and I are having trouble hearing each other right now. There is a massive storm happening where I live. So at also some point this might cut out and be an awkward edit. I don't know who does the editing. I send my file to some jerk off in New Jersey. I don't know. He's got weird hair. I don't fucking know anything about him.
No. We outsource it to India. It's Hardik.
Oh.
Hardik takes care of our editing.
Well, it's good to know that he recovered from his traumatic experience of falling off a roof and having no penis.
Well, he's been sexting me. The penis is actually looking much better. It's growing back.
Oh, it's growing back. Damn it. We had the same joke at the same time. So yeah, just mind a bit of warning. If things sound a little weird, it's because we're having a little bit of trouble here.
We're recording in fairly early in May, and it is unseasonably warm.
Yeah,
and thunderstorms
I'm almost
are
nude.
A boot. It's like 99 degrees and all the humidity and tornado warnings. We're gonna die probably before the end of this episode.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens.
The country's dying. The world, the planet is dying. It's the fault of the youth, the millennials, of which we definitely are not. Cough, cough.
No, we're millennials.
Yeah, I was trying to.
Oh, you were hiding our identities. I see.
Folks, I don't think he's doing a bit. I don't think he got that.
No, I'm just a moron.
That's okay, so am I. Well, we have to be morons to do this fucking show. I've watched the Steven Seagal movie 3 times. I'm the biggest moron on the planet.
I know. I'm in the same boat. Fucking Flintstones 3.5 times. That's for next week.
If I had to guess, and I'm going to make this a serious guess, barring the editors and the people, barring anyone who worked on this movie, I swear to God, anyone whose name is not in the credits, I probably have seen Code of Honor the most times of anyone on the planet. I'm legitimate. I'm throwing my hat into that arena that I have seen Code of Honor more times than any single person who was not listed in the credits.
Oh, Steven Seagal probably went to the premiere and got his dick sucked by, like, whatever floozy was hanging on his arm that weekend because he had $100 bills hanging out of his zipper.
I don't know if he's married.
I think he's multiple marriages and lots of floozies, if I had to guess. Just by the thickness of his neck. That's usually a good indicator.
Oh, God. One of my best friends, Tim, was telling me today, because I was talking about how I hate this movie, and he was telling me how he used to watch Steven Seagal movies for fun because they're the worst. And
they're so bad.
There's this one that has French vampires.
What?
Who have a plan to poison the water of some city to make more French vampires. And he fights them with, like, arm blades. So, buckle up, folks. This is the kind of movie you're in for.
Oh, my God. Code of Honor.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. So, for those of you unfamiliar, let's talk a tiny little bit about Steven Seagal. Because it's important for the backstory of you knowing more about this movie and what exactly I knew I was in for as I was getting into this. So, his occupation on Wikipedia is listed as actor, producer, screenwriter, director, martial artist, and most confusingly, musician, which I haven't looked into that, but believe me, I will.
He's released albums. And he scores... I don't know if scores is the right word. His songs are featured in his movies. Probably one of the songs in your movie is a Steven Seagal song.
Oh, for real? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, God.
I went down a rabbit hole on Mr. Seagal.
You did more than I focused mostly on the movie and his IMDb page because it's fucking fascinating.
I just needed to know about the man because I hate him more than I hate cancer.
He is a fucking anomaly. So, Steven Seagal, in the 80s, was his big thing? 80s, early 90s.
I think late 80s, yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s, into the early 2000s. Then I think he took a break for a while. He was in really low rent, but not B-level action movies. Like, he was a star, but, I mean, when you think of, like, early 80s, or early 90s, late 80s, 80s stars, action stars. You got, like, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and then, like, the weird bottom of that list is Steven Seagal. Like, he technically was a big actor, but he was kind of, like, notably the worst of the action star heroes.
His movies were like Die Soft, featuring John McClure.
Yeah, like he was technically a big star, but like just barely over the line, because he had a lot of movies that were like in the big action movie craze that he kind of glommed onto the success of like other people's stuff by just.
If you're a football fan, he's Eli Manning. He had a moment of glory, but really so many people outshine him so desperately so that he is trash.
Yeah, he's really not good. He's not a good actor. He's not a good martial artist. Now, he will dispute both of those things with you. However.
Yes, we should also probably, just to be cautious, say allegedly. To everything we say about Steven Seagal, just in case he sues us. Retroactive allegedly. Yeah, just putting that out there.
Yeah. I mean, I know nothing about his personal life. It looks like he was married 4 times. One marriage was annulled the same year. I mean, make of that what you will.
Quick.
I'm alone and will probably die alone, so make of that what you will. I'm sure he's a lovely person.
I'm sure too.
I do not think much of his movies.
I'm sure he volunteers at the Humane Society. He feeds like mewling kittens from a bottle.
He is a reserve deputy sheriff.
I forgot about that.
When they run out of deputy sheriffs, they call him.
God. Just imagine being pulled over by Steven Seagal for a blinker being out.
I know he's I'm pretty sure he's like heavily into Native American rights, which okay, sure.
Yeah. But that's a good cause, but I don't believe Steven Seagal belongs there.
Yeah, he's also a huge Trump supporter, and he loves Vladimir Putin, which make of that what you
Russian citizenship.
Does he really?
Yes, he just got it. No, he bugged the ambassador. He kept emailing or calling the ambassador. He was like, "Hey, can I get citizenship? Can I get citizenship? Come on. I'm Steven Seagal. I'm great." And finally, they were like, "Yeah, fine, fuck it, whatever. You can be a Russian. We don't care. Just stop bothering us."
Oh my god. Oh man, yeah. So, yeah. Let me describe him in as neutral terms as possible. He's a thick-necked. He's got like a really large, weird-shaped head.
It's like a square watermelon. Allegedly, yeah.
He has a very square head.
He's got a normal head.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's always been overweight to be an action star. I mean, I'm overweight, but I'm not an action star.
Yeah, I'm a fat piece of shit, but I'm not an action star either, so I got room to talk.
Right. If you're over the age of 18, you've probably heard of this guy, the legends of him. I don't know his entire filmography, but from what I understand, oh my god, there's a picture of him signing his Russian passport. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna fucking die. From what I understand, he did a bunch of films, and then it looks like he did a shitload in the early 2000s, and then he kind of like really slowed down, and he started to pick back up again. Where there's like, let me point out, he in 2016 he did 7 films.
So we're getting the, oh shit, I burned through my millions, I need to capitalize on my residual fame so I don't die penniless kind of movies, right?
Yeah. And there is a good chance that I will fuck it up and accidentally say that he wrote this movie, because it sure does seem like he did. But he did not write Code of Honor. He didn't do any, he produced it, but he didn't do anything else.
Was it 10 monkeys on one typewriter?
No, I didn't get the name of the writer. I probably should have. Let me pull it up quick, because I'm interested. Michael Winnick. Directed, produced, and written by Michael Winnick.
Ooh, he deserves all the shame.
And the music is by Youssef Gouziou.
I'm sure if you dig deep, there's got to be a Seagal song on there.
There probably is, but I don't know.
He likes to slip it in there. He's kind of a... No, I'm not going to say it. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So there's a... Steven, it's important to understand who Steven Seagal is. And I think you've probably got it by now. Let's see here. This movie had an estimated budget of $8 million, of which, if I had to guess, Seagal was paid $5 million of that. I don't know for sure, but I would really... This is not an $8 million budget movie. It just not.
Look like it in the first 5 minutes.
It's
the blood
just
looked
not
terrible.
We'll get to the blood. On IMDb, this has a rating of 4.3, which is one of the lower ones we've ever had, out of 1,600 reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, no critical score, because who the fuck watched this? And it has an audience score of 29%.
Ooh, that is low. That's pretty down
low.
There. I want to tease next episode, just because I find this fascinating, because the Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas, which is going to be episode 8, the tomato meter is 25. Which is bad. Really bad. I think the worst we've had.
Wow.
But almost always, the audience aggregated review percentage is higher than the critics, because they're not as picky with their movies.
Nostalgia.
They might just want a fun movie. No, for Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas, it's 20% from the audience.
Oh, I'm so glad I picked that.
Unbelievable. Okay, but that's all next week, so stay tuned.
Oh, yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to read the synopsis. When his family is killed in a drive-by shooting, Robert Sykes, who's Steven Seagal. I'm only ever going to call him Steven Seagal because it's important. You know who he is.
Please do, yeah.
A former special ops operative, vows to rid his city. Note that it does not say what city it is. It never does. I imagine it was a licensing concern. Of every last criminal. Seagal's former protege, FBI agent Porter, with help from a witness, tries to find his vigilante friend before the police, or the maniacal mobster Romano, are able to. It's rated R for strong bloody violence, sexuality, nudity, some language, and drug use. Isaac, it's a fun game. Would you like to guess what drug is being used in this movie?
Cocaine.
You are correct. Congratulations. That's the only game I have prepared because all my time is going to be taken up trying to understand the ending of this movie.
That's the easiest question I've ever been asked.
Yeah. It's a married man, ladies and gentlemen, and the Steven Seagal question was the easiest question he's ever been asked. That says a lot. Okay, let's get to this pile of shit.
Let's get to the meat.
This movie is, I described it as generic horse trash. Not that good quality homegrown horse trash. It's like great value horse trash.
Oh, God.
It even has the most generic name ever. Code of Honor. If you've never seen any single action movie, you've seen this movie. Because Code of Honor, by the way, means nothing. It means literally nothing in the plot. I'll describe it a little more later, but it's so fucking meaningless. This movie is an hour and 45 fucking minutes long.
Ooh.
And
that's
you have no idea how long that is. I saw, to date this a little bit, I saw Avengers Infinity War over the weekend. By the way, very good movie. Even you have to see a bunch of movies to understand what's happening. Excellent movie, though. 2 hours and 45 minutes. When you leave the theater, you're like, holy shit, was it really that long? Because it's a good movie. This movie is, I felt a lifetime pass every minute. I've lived so many lives. I've had so many lovers. I've had so many heartbreaks in the time it took me to watch this movie 3 goddamn times.
You're welcome, Mr. Beard.
Oh, boy. The twist at the end of this movie.
I'm so excited for the twist.
It's so weak.
Because I've seen the first 5 minutes.
It's so weak and so confusing that I can't even be properly mad about it because I don't know what to be angry about.
Like, it's his FBI protege is the bad guy all along? Is that it?
If only it was that easy. That is one thread in the Gordian's knot of the Code of Honor ending.
Oh, is his wife and daughter still alive?
Okay, so to start off, we get a sweeping city skyline view. We don't really know what city it is. They never say it. It's always just the city.
But I'm going to say, they filmed it in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh, did they? Okay. So,
I know, because I went down this rabbit hole really far.
I'm glad you did, because I did a lot of plot focus and not a lot of anything else.
No, I had Steven Seagal day.
Okay, well, you can supplement the stuff that I put. So
it was one of those bad, like, do you ever have one of those days where you're like, the Great Wall of China? Like, what? How is that a thing? And you just need to know everything about it, and you just run down that rabbit hole?
100%. You had it with Steven Seagal?
I'm so ashamed to say.
I'm so happy. Well, good. The next Steven Seagal movie I give you will be all the sweeter.
No, don't. Please,
I don't.
No.
I don't have one teed up.
I will suck your dick every day. I will drive up to see you in Pennsylvania and suck your dick if I don't have to see any Steven Seagal movies.
Like,
and I'm a heterosexual man. Just make that clear. Sucking a dick is not the worst thing in the world, but it's not my preference. But I would rather do that and make a 90-minute commute through Philadelphia every day. Okay. Please, Larry, I'm begging you. But
I don't have one in the chamber, but for any of you perusing Netflix, you can see.
No, shut up.
You can see just how many bullets there are to fire out of this gun. He's produced so many movies. All right, so we eventually close in on our, let's call him hero for now, but that is a very loaded statement. There's a lot to discuss about the heroes and villains department of this movie. Oh
my god, I'm so happy.
So we close in on Steven Seagal. I want to take a minute to talk about his outfits, because there are two. He has his sniper outfit, which consists of like a flak jacket. I don't know what his pants look like because he was kneeling. A backwards ball cap. I would not be if it's probably it's black, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a MAGA hat. And he has this like MAGA. I'm gonna call it. This is probably insensitive, and I'm sorry. It's so hot, and I didn't look it up. I didn't have time. I'm gonna call it a Navajo scarf. He's got like this Native American-y scarf, like black and white scarf wrapped around his neck, and his regular outfit is like a black trench coat. And his like black shoes, black pants, and very slicked back hair to the point where he looks like he's wearing a hair helmet. And he is never ever seen in this movie and any of his modern movies, to my knowledge, without his orange tinted sunglasses.
Oh, that's no. That's seriously a thing with Jim Jones from Jonestown.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he was on so many drugs. And he had to hide it from all his insane followers that he wore sunglasses for like the last 5 years of his life nonstop.
Well, these aren't mirrored sunglasses. Like for
even so, I bet it's hiding. Allegedly, it might be possibly, potentially hiding maybe certain drugs, prescription or illegal. I wouldn't know because it's only alleged.
Well, Isaac, are you much of a fisherman?
What now?
Are you much of a fisherman?
Am I a fisherman?
Yeah.
I fished, but okay. I have not caught a fish.
I have fished a lot in my youth, but not much anymore. But I knew people who they called them fish finder glasses, where like you could look in the water. It kind of work where you can see in the water a little better because of like the way it blocks a certain type of light or something. It helps with like reflections in the water.
Okay.
This is the description I was given when I was 11 years old. I'm 27 now, so take it at face value. But they were like orange tinted sunglasses. So I imagine in my head these are for like hunting or fishing or killing terrorists in his head, because Steven Seagal thinks he is the baddest man on the planet. It's important for you to remember that, because he is just playing, and whatever movie he's in, it doesn't matter what his character is. He's playing Steven Seagal, and that becomes more evident as time goes on. Wait till we get to the last couple scenes of this movie. So yeah. And by the way, so his trench coat outfit and his sniper outfit, I'm pretty sure those are the only two outfits he wears in every movie he's made for the last 5 years. If you start looking at movie covers and movie trailers, you're going to see that sniper outfit. You're going to see that Navajo scarf. Stay woke, kids.
I'd be willing to bet that's the only outfit he wears in his real life.
Probably. No, he wears like Chinese robes in real life because he thinks he's a jiu-jitsu or an Aikido master.
I hate him.
I want to also take a second. I have not seen the entirety of a Steven Seagal movie in probably 15 years. And the the 1.5 total that I've seen, I don't remember because it's generic trash. But
Right.
The only thing I remember from childhood about his movies specifically is that at some point in the movie, usually within the first 15 minutes, his wife / daughter / woman gets killed and or kidnapped, and he has to avenge / rescue them. And
It's the only way to start an action movie.
if you watch any of his movies, you will see that is indeed the case. And as we'll get to, the saga continues. And he has to avenge them usually with punching. So remember that fact, that punching will be happening. Oh my god, we're like, how long of this review are we already?
We're 25 minutes.
25 minutes, and I have described a minute of movie.
We had to establish Steven Seagal, because there's some Gen Z listeners who do not know what we're talking about.
Yeah, look him up. Follow the rabbit hole. Follow the white rabbit.
It's dark.
Steven is up on a roof with a sniper rifle that doubles as a machine gun. Now, before anyone says anything, I know depressingly little about guns, so it's probably just a machine gun. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Save the email. Save your criticism. Just tell me what it is, and I'll take your word for it. I didn't give it that much thought because there's too much to get to.
Well, a sniper rifle shouldn't fire quickly. I'll just throw that out there.
He's smoking a cigar. I bring it up because it's a plot point. He's in this sniper's nest on a water tower, and he's watching this drug deal take place on the docks below. Two, what I assume to be rival gangs, have groups of their guys meeting up to exchange a briefcase full of money for a briefcase full of cocaine. Now, maybe it's been a while and I'm spoiled by shows like Breaking Bad, but this does not look like enough cocaine to merit 20 guys coming to this deal armed to the teeth. It's just like a standard briefcase just full of cocaine. I mean, I don't know anything about drugs. Like, I'm completely... I don't even fucking drink. I'm completely straight edge, so I don't fucking know anything. But it does not look like it seems like the kind of cocaine you send maybe 3 guys with, not 15.
Right, yeah. You think 15 people would necessitate a suitcase of cocaine, not a briefcase.
This looks like the amount of cocaine that Isaac or I could buy if we had the gumption or chutzpah to buy, if we really wanted to.
Right, sure. If I emptied my 401k, I could get a lot of cocaine.
It's true. Check out next week's new podcast, Cocaine Corner.
Yeah, it's a really good episode. It's really fast. It's going to come at you fast. It's really quick. It's never going to stop. It's never going to end.
I'm going to get all the things done forever. So the deal is going down. A goon named Ecstasy goes over to taste the coke. He's important. Steven seizes his moment. Oh, excuse me, I punched the pop filter. I popped the pump filter. I fucking coked my coke filter. Oh, this heat is making me antsy. So, Ecstasy's tasting the coke, and Steve seizes his moment. He shoots the cocaine briefcase holding Gangster in the chest. And let's take a minute to discuss the CGI bloodstains. So,
Yes.
I don't know if you kids know this, but apparently fake blood got real fucking expensive. So, and the clothing also ain't cheap, because this movie had an $8 million budget, and 6.5 of that went to Steve. So, no one could afford, it's cheaper to hire a graphic designer in China. I assume he's 15, his name's Gizmo, and he's chained to a bench, to edit in terrible CGI blood as opposed to using fake blood. So every blood shot in this movie is terrible. I could do it. And I have no fucking graphic arts skills whatsoever.
It's like the spray can on Microsoft Paint, just on red, right?
It's really bad. When in the daytime, it's even worse.
I didn't see daytime. I only saw this part where it's nighttime.
Somebody gets shot in the face later, and it looks like a fucking sticker on their face.
Oh my god.
So Steve Seagal starts shooting. Of course, he's a crack shot. He kills like 12 people from this perch, and I think the goons who are firing wildly at the tower managed to shoot near him twice, like near him in a way that he doesn't even flinch. But they're firing many guns at this tower, and we see like 2 little gunshot noises, whereas Seagal is just fucking headshot after headshot. And I cannot stress enough how talented a killer Steven Seagal is. And these goons, how fucking stupid they are, because they will stand in the middle of the street and be firing a semi-automatic Uzi-style pistol into the air. You cannot hit from that range. He's like a quarter of a mile in the air.
my god.
And they're standing with no cover, and he's shooting people in the head, and they're just standing with no cover. It's a long shootout. In the middle of it, Ecstasy the Goon tries to grab the coke, and he gets shot in the arm by Seagal. Because, as we find out later, Seagal is trained to leave one survivor, and Ecstasy is the designated survivor, to spread the word. I swear to God, that's a plot point. He's designed to leave a survivor in his massacres to spread the word of his own atrocities.
Oh my god, that's so lame.
So the leader of the goons buying the coke jumps in his car and tries to escape, but Seagal pulls out a detonator and blows the car up. Apparently he's rigged it before off screen. I don't know. We get bad green screen CGI Seagal ziplining down the tower, because if he tried that in real life, he would almost certainly die, because he's held together with spit and prayers.
I'm sorry,
Allegedly.
Mr. Seagal. You exceed the weight limit on the zip line. we're gonna have to go to a green screen.
It's the most notable bit, besides the blood. It's the most notable bit of CGI in the whole movie, and it's really glaring. Oh, so he ziplines down, and he's accosted by a goon who he promptly does a fancy knife trick and knifes him up and down a bunch. And I have to emphasize again that Seagal, and I don't mean Seagal in the movie, I mean Seagal himself. He thinks he is the baddest man on the planet. I've read a line or two. I've read before, last week, a line from his IMDb page. I am 100% positive he has written it. Because he must have.
That seriously is the rumor around town. Because I listened to a podcast of a couple Vegas people who know some celebrities, so they kind of like have some information.
Yeah.
And that's the rumor they've glommed onto. Because it starts off with like describing his boyish good looks, right?
The first line, Steven Seagal is a striking and somewhat boyishly handsome.
Yes.
Often with ponytail, action star who burst onto the martial arts film scene in 1988 in the fast-paced Warner Brothers film Above the Law.
Yes, I'm fairly confident he wrote that about himself, allegedly, of course.
It is really very, very long, and occasionally, when hopelessness strikes me, I'm going to read a line from it. A random line. I have not read the whole thing. I'm going to read a random line from it because I'm sure that they're all hilarious.
Yes. Oh, God.
I've already found my next one, and it's fucking amazing. God bless you, Steven. All right. So, Seagal lets Ecstasy escape because, well, as we learn later, that's an army training tactic. I want to ask my former soldier friend if that's the case.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
So, next day, we get the first of our many protagonists, the hard-boiled detective. I know that I do bits with names and whatnot, but I legitimately didn't learn his name until the third watching. Because I think they say it 3 times. Like, they don't say it in this scene. And it's later on, I eventually caught they do say it, but the first 2 times in the movie, like, anyway, like, I did, when I did White Chicks, for example. First of all, I'm sorry about that. I went back and listened to that episode. It's impossible to keep track of. I was a dick move, especially for the first episode.
No, that's part of the fun. It's like a chess game. You're trying to figure it out. You're puzzling out what's going on.
So, and I did, I obviously the White Chick stuff was a bit. This is not a bit. I legitimately did not learn his name until the third watching, and by then it was too late. And by the third watching, I mean the hour and 10-minute mark when they actually say it aloud. So, hard-boiled detective, and also, again, it's important for me to keep things straight in this movie, because the ending, I need your help.
Oh, no.
You, the planet Earth, to help me understand this movie. So, because hard-boiled detective, I'm going to call him Egg. Because I'll remember that, and you'll remember that.
You're not wrong. Okay, Egg.
Egg is the hard-boiled detective, and obviously...
Does he have any facial hair?
He does.
A goatee?
I don't remember. I think he's just kind of scruffy, sort of like... I'm too busy solving crimes to shave sort of look.
Alright, I want to picture him. Egg. Scruffy crime solver.
Yep. So he and his lady partner, and I never learned her name. I when I realized I didn't know their names, I really tried to learn them. They probably said it once or twice. I didn't catch it. And she's
probably Sage.
She's not important. I want to say Rodriguez. But it seems so generic. But then again, code of honor.
That's the name you give to the female.
Seriously, code of honor. She doesn't add. She's just there to be a sounding board for him. Like, she has no addition to the plot other than to be Egg's kind of person to talk to occasionally, and she just kind of bounces ideas back at him. So they're there with the police chief the next morning at the scene of the crime, Egg and Lady Detective. We get the beginning of the cringy trend of Egg describing the exact scene we've just watched as if we didn't watch it. Like, imagine you're watching an episode of Law & Order and you have to watch the 45 minutes of silent paperwork they do at the end of the day. It's that. Like, we know what happened. I don't need him to describe to me the shootings and the stabbings. Like, we were there. I was in the saloon.
That's the exact opposite of how you do it. You do it in Boondock Saints, where you have someone go over it beforehand, and then afterward you see how it actually happened.
Yeah, Boondock Saints, great example of how to do it right.
Oh my god, I'm so angry now.
Yeah. Fuck, I had something I want to say to that. I don't remember what it is now. Fuck, it's so hot. Oh, God. I'm going to take a minute to get a drink. My fucking underwear might come off, so ladies,
Are you sticking to your leather chair?
I don't want to talk about it.
Was that hissing sound you peeling apart from the leather, or were you opening a can?
That was me opening a bottle of seltzer that is begun boiling, and I got it out of the fridge 10 minutes ago. I'm going to take a long drink, so do a bit while I install for me.
Well, let me talk about Larry's penis, because it has been in my mouth before, and it's been on my ass before, and it's pretty average. I got no complaints about it.
Oh, God, I'm dying. I don't know if you want to cut that burp or not, but whatever. If you cut the burp, leave me in talking about it, cutting it. Oh, I'm going to die. Anyway, so crime scene, Egg, Lady Detective, Chief. Egg spies someone on the water tower that Seagal was on, so he ascends alone! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Yeah, that's how it's done.
With his gun drawn to accost a rather plain, tired-looking, somewhat late 40s middle-aged man who has picked up Seagal's cigar butt. This man is Porter, who identifies himself as an FBI agent.
So it's FBI versus the local PD.
He is our second protagonist on the protagonist train. There will be more cars on this train. But Porter is probably, I would call him the main character. Let's take a step back for a second. Well, Larry, you and Isaac just talked about Steven Seagal for 20 goddamn minutes. That is correct. We will get to that. So Eggs and Porter banter, and Eggs, just egg, hard-boiled egg, not eggs. This is not fucking True Blood. Egg claims, they kind of talk back and forth. Egg claims it would take a small army to kill all these men, and Porter instead reveals it was the work of only one man. And you can guess who that man is, because we fucking saw it. It's Steven Seagal. Show, don't tell. Fucking step one of writing a goddamn movie or TV show. Show, don't tell. Fuck. We cut to Ecstasy the Goon. He's being interrogated by his fellow mob men. All of these mobsters work for Mr. Romano, who is like the local gang boss who runs every group of semi-mobsters who...
He's the cheese king of town, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He runs... like, in every movie, every shitty action movie, if you have, like, a group of mobsters that aren't the Italian mob, like, that aren't the Sopranos mob,
right.
the guy who's running them, same guy. Just action movie trope upon action movie trope upon action movie trope. Mr. Romano is the creepy boyfriend from Perfect Sisters.
Oh, that's who he is. Because I recognized him because I dipped ahead in the movie. That's awesome.
I got that out of pure luck because I looked up his page because the name of the actor sounded familiar. His last name of the actor is Russo.
Yeah.
And the Russo brothers are like, they just did Avengers. They're famous writers. And I'm like, there's no way it's related. And I happened to see this, and I looked at filmography at a glance and saw Perfect Sisters, and it all clicked into place. So that was just all luck. So, yeah. Just picture that.
I will bet, as bad as most of the acting is, I bet he is actually acceptable in his acting. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't have any real complaints about any of the acting. It's all kind of middle of the road. Even Seagal, for what he is... It's just because he's played the same character for so many years. It's just...
Right, I guess he's had enough practice.
It's shitty, but you don't expect it to be good, so it doesn't, like, strike you as terrible. There's these two news anchors who are the worst actors on the fucking planet, but they're in the movie for like 15 seconds. I will mention them because I hated it.
Okay.
But
fair enough.
But yeah, no, Mr. Romano, his acting's fine. He's kind of like the low sort of like, bring the girl here. Sort of like he'd be Emperor Palpatine if he was in Star Wars.
Okay. Got it.
But not with the ridiculous overacting. Anyway, so yeah, he comes in to talk to Ecstasy to say, where's the money and where's the drugs? Ecstasy doesn't know anything. And now I need you to make a note here. This is very important. Again, I'm really cutting back on the bits for this review because it's too much confusion. Mr. Romano tells two other goons to get rid of Ecstasy. He says those words. He says, get rid of him. And they drag Ecstasy away, and he's like screaming and crying at the top of his lungs. And going, no, no. So he gets dragged off screen, and Mr. Romano is like, who's stealing my drugs and my drug money? All right, next scene. We cut to Porter, FBI agent. He goes back to his hotel room. He watches a news broadcast. Like I said, these fucking low-rent bullshit must have been the neighbors of the goddamn writer, actor, and actress who have no fucking range, no depth, no emotion. They don't know how to fucking act as if they were sitting at a news desk. They don't know how to throw to one another. They've never seen the news, so they don't know how to act like news anchors. They're in two tiny scenes where they drive me crazy. Probably because their acting is so bad. And everyone else is just kind of like, they're acting. Not great, not terribly. Because, I didn't really consider that, which means the acting must not have been too terrible because it wasn't notable. But these anchors really fucking suck. So we learned the mayor is corrupt. We also learned that Porter has an estranged wife and child because he kind of has a bottle of alcohol he puts in front of their picture. So cut to a strip club. And I win the distinct honor, I'm turning up my imaginary lapels, of being the first person in this series to get tits.
Oh, that is a good point.
So,
I hadn't thought of that.
We get topless women. Unfortunately, they're probably actual strippers based on their acting talent, he says. Tentatively.
What's the quality of the tits, though?
Well, funny you should say that. So,
oh boy.
One has painted on heart nipples.
Heart nipples?
And by painted on, I mean okay, so imagine a nipple. If you're 12 and above, don't you dare imagine the nipple of the opposite gender. You think about your own nipples.
No, you can imagine boy nipples.
Now,
they can go shirtless.
Now imagine you draw little humps on the top of a nipple and made them into hearts. But the little humps are the same color as the areola.
Okay, so we're just broadening the top edges of the areola so it looks like a heart.
Okay, imagine, alright, draw a heart, draw a little circle in that heart. Now imagine a breast with no nipple, and now put your heart drawing with the little circle in the middle of it on top of that breast. That's what it looks like.
Is it just like rouge or something?
It must be. We don't get a close-up. And it's just one of the strippers who has that. But it's really unsettling, and I looked at it, I was like, oh, I don't like this. It's like... If you're, let me use gentlemanly terms. If you're engaging in the watching of a film of an adult pornographic nature for pleasure or just to kill time, something that I've always found unsettling to the point of being a distraction is the word "daddy" being used.
Yeah, that can be uncomfortable.
To the point where it ruins it for me. It ruins it. Okay, I lose my fucking boner if they start saying daddy.
How quickly do you lose a boner?
It depends on the nature of the offense. Usually over the course of 30 seconds. It's not like...
I was worried it was going to be 3 seconds.
It's not like bing to bong. I made a finger motion when I did that.
Bing to bong!
But anyway, so why did I have to describe that? Anyway, no, the heart nipples are really... It's that's... I don't... No, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, don't do that, ladies. Be attractive for me. Think about my needs as a white male. Remember, I'm fat and white. I'm going to die alone. I'm die hated.
I'm just saying, if I start undressing a woman and I get to a heart areola, I'm second guessing progressing with the intercourse.
Yeah, it drew my focus more than anything because it's No. Don't
And
mess
as
with perfection.
Human males, we're supposed to just focus on sex.
Right.
As soon as anything pulls us out of sex, that's alarm bell should be ringing.
Yeah, that's a problem. Not a problem. God, it's so hard to try and be correct. And I'm not trying to be correct for the sake of not getting people pissed off. I'm trying to do it to be a good person. And it's just,
right, yeah.
I grew up, I'm not going to give excuses. I suck. I'm working on it, I swear. But the heart nipples are really unsettling. Anyway, fucking Jesus Christ. Back to Steven Seagal. My boner's back. Steven Seagal. He's in the shadows of the club. He's smoking his cigars. He's keeping a wary eye, not on the new gals, but the group of what I assume to be gangbangers in the back corner. There's like 6 of them. I'm going to call it Seagal vision because I don't quite understand it. We see the club as a front for drugs and weapons, assumingly for Mr. Romano. Seagal vision is just kind of like the camera does a really fast zoom to somewhere else, then a slow pan by like guns and a guy counting money and drugs, and it zooms to somewhere else, another slow pan. You've seen it before, but I can't tell if that's supposed to be Seagal's vision or just like us seeing the plot. I don't know. We see a stripper named Carrie who is on the phone with her son's school as her son is sick and needs to be taken home. She asks another stripper who we see snorting coke, a fact which seems odd to add considering that she's in the movie for like 3 minutes total. So she asks this girl to take her stripping shift so she can go pick up her son. And the girl agrees. Stripper friend agrees. There's an odd detail here where Carrie unhooks the emergency exit alarm so she can go out the back door. We'll get to that in a bit, but it's a weird detail to add. I want to talk about Carrie for a minute. She represents a very common trope in action movies, which is the stripper with a heart of gold, or the prostitute with a heart of gold. Very common in these old action movies where you get, the girl who gets overlooked because she has to strip to make money, or she has to be a hook to make money. Oftentimes, especially in Seagal movies, she's forced into it. We don't really know why Carrie's a stripper. We never see her in any kind of state of nudity.
That trope just bothers me so much because it's just this assumption that there's this good girl lying under the veneer of being a stripper or a porn star, and that you can't be a good person and be a stripper or a porn star, where you completely could be. There's nothing inherently wrong with... Oh, God, that makes me so mad.
And the other... she's straight-laced, doesn't do drugs. She's not in... she knows... It comes up later that she knows about all the stuff Mr. Romano has going on there, but, doesn't involve herself.
She has a career.
She doesn't do anything with the drugs or the guns, or, doesn't... It was a really common trope in the 90s. It's kind of fallen out of fashion, so here we are. Here it is in the Steven Seagal movie. Shocker.
Oh, yeah, of course. In 2016.
I was going to shorten her name to Heart of Gold, since that'd be easier to distinguish, but she's really the only woman of any importance in this movie besides Lady Detective, who, as I said, she's just a sounding board. So I'm just going to continue to call her Carrie, because she's the only woman to really ever talk about. I was going to shorten Carrie to Heart of Gold, and then shorten Heart of Gold to HOG, but I don't want to get emails about calling a woman a hog for the next hour. Even though it'd be really funny if it was a dude to just call him hog because it stands for Heart of Gold, but I feel like I'd be offending somebody with calling a woman hog. So, she's leaving. She tells stripper friend that Seagal isn't tipping. Stripper friend says, well, he hasn't seen me yet. So she goes out and strips. She leaves her bra on the stage. I bring that up for a reason. But despite boasting that she can make Seagal tip, she ignores him and goes to the gangbangers in the corner. She's giving a guy a pseudo lap dance, kind of with her titties instead of her vagina, because they do have their panties on. We need to talk about something here. I'm going to call it explosion dynamics. Because, spoiler, the club is about to explode.
Does this involve loads or actual explosions?
No, actual explosions. The club is about to explode.
Thank God.
Seagal leaves a briefcase, walks out, hits a detonator, club explodes. So let's talk about precise detonations.
So none of the strippers die.
So, let's set the scene. You got 6 gangbangers. They're in the back of the club. They're against the wall. Stripper friend is giving one of them a lap dance. She's on his legs. She's within fucking distance.
No.
So Seagal blows it up. He's 10 feet away from it, by the way, when he blows it up and does the don't look back at the explosion. He's in the middle of the fucking street, and casually walks away when it explodes. Person of interest much? Anyway, the strippers, perfectly fine. Not a scratch on them.
No, Larry, I cannot accept this.
Everyone else in the club is dead. She is stripper friend, perfectly fine. Perfectly. The 6 men around her would have been exploded. She's perfectly fine. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what I call a precise demolition. Oh. Get close to the mic, make it really intimate. For how intimate the explosion was. Because it caressed her like a fucking hand of flame that protected her from the rest of the flames.
Well, to be fair, I'm sure a professional lady of the night is accustomed to precise detonations.
By the way, she has her bra back on. The bra that she left in the rest of the explosion.
Oh, it blew her back on?
Yeah, so I guess while she was running away from the explosion, she stopped to pick it up and put it on.
It's hard enough to take a bra off with one hand, let alone blow it back on with an explosion.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So Porter sees the shitty news people again, and they're so shitty I bring it up because even though they're in the fucking movie for 30 seconds, they're so terrible. God damn, it's pissed me off so much. Fucking emotionless green screen sitting in front of twats. So strip club, he sees has been blown up. He hurries down to the scene. At the scene, we see news reporter Jerry Simon, who is a pseudo-protagonist of this movie. Let's also talk about the word protagonist here. Isaac, would you care to give a description, you're a college boy, of what the word protagonist means?
Protagonist would be the lead character who the audience is supposed to follow and root for throughout the duration of the story.
So not necessarily a good guy. 'Cause that's a common misconception that the protagonist is the good guy. The protagonist is the person in the story that we're supposed to root for.
Yeah, Walter White's a great example of someone who ends up being a pretty bad guy, but you're still rooting for him.
Yeah. So Jerry Simon, he's another one of our protagonists, kind of. He's basically Harvey Levin. Literally, he looks just like him, too. For those of you who don't know who Harvey Levin is, he is like the interviewer for People's Court. And more notably, he is like the lead guy on TMZ. He is a known scumbag, a really known, like he's a real TMZ's a piece of shit. It's a pile of shit. No, allegedly, it fuck TMZ. You can come after me, TMZ. I'm right here. Seagal, I got no beef with, but TMZ, you can fuck right off. And you too, Harvey Levin. So I'm going to call this guy Harvey Levin because he fucking, I thought it was him for a hot minute. So yeah, he's in this movie a lot, and he's kind of protagonisty. But his fate gets really confusing. Egg and Lady Detective do the thing where they describe a bunch of stuff the audience already knows. Egg mentions maybe they should thank this vigilante because he's only killing gang members and gangbangers. So yeah, then Carrie shows back up. I rewrote the description here, the bra thing, because I was so fucking incensed that she found her bra on the blown up stage and put it back on. The heat is starting to get to me, ladies and gentlemen.
Larry's got the heat sweats.
The police chief brings up the emergency exit thing, and that's the end of that because Egg just says, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So I don't know why have it? Why have her disconnecting the emergency exit and make it that fucking why? Just for me to write down and then write down later, oh, sorry, kids, that didn't fucking matter? That's why. Because it has no bearing on the plot, so I fucking show it. Why have this scene? That's like having fucking Lord of the Rings when we get to see Samwise take a long piss and then come back to the rest of the fucking fellowship. What was the point? Doesn't add anything. So Carrie is noticed. She shows back up. She's noticed both by Porter, the FBI agent, and one of Mr. Romano's goons we saw earlier. Porter accosts Carrie, realizing quickly that she's a stripper and works there because she's wearing heels. She brings up that it was probably Seagal who blew up the place because he gave her a bad vibe. He was sitting in the corner in the darkness, smoking cigars, not talking. Sure, okay. Porter brings her over to Egg and Lady Detective, and while they're all talking, he spies Seagal in the crowd around the building. Why would he be there? Why would he come there?
Seriously.
Why would Steven Seagal be there? This is a plot point for later. It's completely out of character that Seagal would be there. He's supposed to be fucking smart. I need a cigarette. So Porter gives chase.
No, you need a cigar.
He's followed by the detectives, but Porter loses him immediately in an alley. He turns a corner, Seagal, gone. Carrie?
He probably zip-lined up out of there.
Carrie disappears. The police lose her. She's in the movie. She's an important character. But she, leaves when the detectives go around a corner like she has no object permanence, like a fucking baby. In the span of 40 seconds there off screen, she disappears, and that's the plot point for the next 20 minutes.
What?
So back at the police station, Porter explains who Seagal is and explains his motives. Again, his character name doesn't matter. He's Seagal. So what happens is Seagal is the Special Forces commander. He's the best soldier ever, top of his unit, blah, blah, blah. While he was in Afghanistan, his wife and son were killed by a drive-by shooting, which is random, a random drive-by shooting. No motive, just got shot because they're white and wifey and childy. So upon returning from Afghanistan, Seagal makes it his personal mission to clean up the world one gangbanger at a time. Porter says that entire armies are hunting Seagal, sure, so the police force won't be able to catch him. Egg takes offense to this because he's the hard-boiled detective. I prefer my detective scrambled, but that's a terrible joke, so I won't say it. Porter himself is a former soldier, so he has the tools to be able to catch Seagal. Huge point of contention that he explains here. He claims Seagal is a shadow, a ghost with the ability to blend in anywhere. He is none of those things. You can spot that man. If he was at fucking sea, you would see him coming. That doesn't even make any sense in it said it. He has worn 2 outfits in the entire movie, and he will wear them for the rest of this movie. Only 2 outfits he owns. God damn it. He never changes appearances, so he's not a shadow, he's not a ghost, he's fucking Seagal. Porter leaves to go find Carrie, who, let me remind you, is lost, and no one knows where she is. He and Egg are contentious about it because he has no faith in him. Egg is suspicious of Porter because who the fuck is this dude, blah, blah, blah. Next day, next scene, we see 2 random lady cops arresting some gangbangers against a random wall, while in the distance, Seagal, in his Navajo scarf and backwards MAGA hat, shoots them both. We get a lot of these, cut-in scenes of Seagal cleaning up the streets, don't go anywhere, characters that never come back. Just him kind of on this personal vendetta against all gangbangers, who he then shoots with his rifle from, a mile away. There's a bunch of them. The lady cops, after the gangbangers get shot, they, are taking cover and pointing their guns away. And the one cop keeps saying, officer needs help, which... something about that just doesn't sound right. Is officer needs help the official?
Yeah, no, it'd be code 83 or 64 blue. Or something.
Officer down. Okay, got it. But officer needs help. If it's right, okay, then forget I said anything. But it just sounds off. And
officer needs help. Officer needs help.
She keeps saying it, and I keep thinking about it, and I keep getting well, that can't be right, can it? So, whatever. We cut to Mr. Romano. He's even angrier now that his strip club has been destroyed. Like I said, boyfriend, perfect sisters. He looks like a jack-o'-lantern that has been out since Halloween, and now it's March. Is that how you would describe him in Perfect Sisters, too?
Yes, exactly.
He has, a very sunken-in face. So he gets a picture of Carrie and demands his men bring her into him so he can question her. Porter breaks into the husk of the strip club. He jacks a hard drive from a computer in the back. And outside, he's accosted by 2 of Mr. Romano's thugs who have switchblades. Switchblades, fucking switchblades! People are dying from high-powered sniper fire. Dozens of people! And he gave his goons switchblades. He is a moron. So they try and attack Porter, but he kung-fus them for a bit before pulling out twin hunting knives and just carves them up.
What?
Kind of off for an FBI agent, which leads up to the brief period of time where I was kind of intrigued by this movie. We kind of have a mystery. Porter, and that's Egg kind of hints onto it that Porter's not what he seems. Now, when I say I was intrigued by this movie, I mean that only because I was clinging to anything to try and hold my interest. This is not a unique trope. Have sort of, there be a mystery about a character who's not what he says he is. It's pretty clear that something's off with Porter, but it's done very poorly because he really seems like an FBI agent, like, up until the very end, besides the knifing thing. Like, this is the one scene, I'm trying to think of, like, if anyone here, Isaac, you've seen Usual Suspects, right?
Yeah.
Fucking amazing movie. Really spoiled now by goddamn Kevin Spacey. Son of a bitch betrayed me.
Yeah, we gotta try to separate the artist from the art a little bit, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. But, like, imagine you got no hints at all of anything about who Kaiser Soze is. I'm not going to spoil anything about that movie because it's fucking amazing. You should watch it. But then at the end, like, we still don't know who Kaiser Soze is? Or we even have any idea, or the mystery is even remotely solved? That's this movie. That's what we're getting to. So, fucking buckle up, folks. Right. I was briefly intrigued, and then it got awful. Porter escapes, but the primary Romano goon, he's like in a lot of the Romano shots. He sees him and shoots at him for a bit before he runs away, too. So now the Ray Romano gang knows about Porter and his weird knife fetish. We get a good guy Seagal scene where a pimp is collecting money from one of his hoes, only to be promptly shot by Seagal from across the street. The hooker runs away, only to turn back and grab the money from the dead pimp's hand, because grabbing things when there's an active shooter is just a thing in this movie. That's what you do when there's someone shooting fucking sniper rounds, idiots. So that scene's done, because we just keep getting those of good guy Seagal cleaning up the streets. So Harvey Levin and his cameraman are doing the scummy they're like really scummy, sort of like, this'll be ratings gold kind of guys who will do anything for the scoop. They're at the knife scene. Egg removes them. Harvey Levin, in the next scene, I keep bringing him up too because it's important. He's important later, but not now. But he's the one who gives Seagal the nickname he will get for the rest of this movie. Would you like to take a shot in the dark at what it is?
Seagal's nickname for the rest of the movie?
Yeah. Because like when he does the news story, it's like, oh, we've got blank running amok and doing all this stuff.
Dark Horse?
Super Vigilante.
Oh, ew. Super Vigilante?
Super Vigilante. That is how he's referred to for the rest of the movie. Like, whenever someone who's not Porter is talking about him, it's like, oh, man, we almost caught the Super Vigilante.
That's the worst nickname.
Yeah.
Like, this character is almost a real-life superhero. You need a cool name, not Super Vigilante.
Yeah, it's really terrible. God. It's just the worst. It's just fucking, it doesn't get any better.
I'm standing by Dark Horse. I feel like that'd be all right.
I want to point out, this is going to be a long one, because I'm at page 5 of 10.
Oh, God.
Porter hacks the hard drive of the stripper computer, and he finds Carrie's address. While Mr. Romano and his primary goon are watching Harvey Levin's news broadcast, this is where the plot starts to get weird. Harvey randomly, and I mean randomly, no basis for this, shows a clip he took earlier in the movie, pointing out Porter and saying, hey, he's interesting, maybe he's the super vigilante. Okay, I don't know where he got that. So Primary Goon and Mr. Romano come to the same conclusion. So now they're after Porter. They think Porter's Seagal. Cut to Carrie. She's packing her bags to leave town. She mentioned this to her son earlier in a scene I skipped. Her son, like 10, by the way, he fills every action movie trope of little kid ever. Like, earnest, honest, wants to know who the good guys and bad guys are. If you've seen an action movie, you've seen this kid. I don't think I think he gets a name in the movie, but I didn't get it. It's just her son. As she's packing, some Romano goons burst in, led by Ecstasy. Ecstasy, who had been shown to have been gotten rid of? Because apparently when Mr. Romano said earlier, get rid of him, and he started screaming like a lunatic, what he meant was clean him up, give him a sling for his arm, and put him in charge of a squad of goons. That is some good mobstering right there.
That's how you do it.
Second chances are an important part of mob culture, Isaac. Remember that. So they kick the door in and knock the latch clean off. It's got like a chain lock. Clean off. Ecstasy asks her questions about the bombing. He brings up that it's not safe for people in her profession anymore. That's untrue, because we directly see Seagal not murdering prostitutes or strippers or innocent people. So she's totally safe. I mean, innocent people in air quotes, but this whole questioning conversation goes nowhere important. And he's like getting real rapey. And I'm not paying attention at this point, and I notice the guns in this movie look exceptionally fake. Like, his pistol looks like you made it out of a square cardboard tube.
Oh my god.
Like, it's really fake looking, and he's like rubbing it against her tits and like getting real rapey.
Ugh.
And I'm just like thinking, that's a fake gun. That's a really fake gun.
I pulled you right out of the movie.
We get a knock on the door, which now is relatched because White's filmed the same shot twice. It's Porter, who has found her, and he's coming to see her. So she and Ecstasy go to the door, and this is important. They get up against the door, and Ecstasy says, in a loud speaking voice, something like, you tell him we're here, and I'll kill you. I'll shoot you in the head. And then, in the same speaking voice, she starts to have a conversation with Porter, who I guess just didn't hear Ecstasy say that, even though it's at the same level and volume. Like, there's no way he didn't hear that.
Oh my god.
So she kind of gives him the nod to show that she's not alone, and he bursts in and he kills the two goons and he shoots Ecstasy in his bad arm again. And they leave because he's afraid that Seagal's going to show up, because he's afraid Seagal's going to kill Carrie. I never really explained why, whatever. So yeah, Ecstasy only gets knocked out. He's not dead. This is important. So they run into the alley behind the apartment. A truck full of goons pulls up, and a swarm of goons on foot are attacking. Porter has a fight with all of them, fairly prolonged. He kills like 8 people, just with no real problem, because the protagonists of this movie are just killing machines to the point of ridiculousness. And we get our favorite thing, Isaac, as we've been watching these kind of movies for years. Shitty slow motion.
Oh, it's so fun.
Oh, it's the worst. So Carrie runs away again, just down the alley to escape. And Porter finishes off the fight with a knife combo, because he's out of bullets. And he's about to be shot by Ecstasy, who's reemerged, when we hear a gunshot. And on Ecstasy's face appears what looks like a Microsoft Paint sticker effect of a tiny red splotch of blood. It looks like it was straight out of Microsoft Paint. It looks like someone put a little heart-shaped Microsoft Paint sticker on his cheek, and he falls over.
Sake.
And it's reveals Seagal, who has shot him in the back of the head. Ecstasy, rest in peace. You're one of the better parts of this movie. Downhill from here. Seagal says that Porter is slipping. By the way, we're 47 minutes into the movie. These are Seagal's first lines.
Oh my god.
Seagal thanks Porter for killing some of the bad guys, because that's what he wants to do too. He claims he's going to continue doing things his way, and he wants Porter to meet him for like a meet and greet at tomorrow night at the Devil's Garden Club, which I got to admit, great name for a Den of Inequity. I'll give you that one, Code of Honor.
All right, you got one right.
I like Devil's Garden as a name for like a seedy sort of sex club. Seagal, I want to note, he comes out of the direction that Carrie ran to like 10 seconds prior. So did she just not pass him in the alley? I don't care. We cut to the mayor, who is also running for governor. He tells an assembled crowd that the crime wave will be over soon, but Harvey Levin continues to tout that the super vigilante is more heroic than the mayor, who we then see get into his limo and start touching up on a leggy redhead while ignoring a phone call from his wife. He's old, she's young, gross.
Yeah, right.
Not an ageist, but gross.
Yeah, at a certain point, gross.
Another vigilante scene. Seagal shoots a bunch of drug dealers across the street. Blah, blah, fucking blah. So many of these. At the hotel room, Porter is visited by Carrie and her son who want to stay with him to stay safe. We get a long, boring scene that goes nowhere. Long story short, he has a pleasant interaction with the kid because it reminds him of his own kid. He talks about being estranged. There's like a tiny, tiny, tiny seed of romance between Carrie and Porter here, but that doesn't go anywhere either. Oh, God, I'm losing steam. I'm dying. I need you to fill for me again. I need another drink because I'm dying of heat stroke.
I got a theory. I got a theory about one of these characters. I don't want to spoil anything, but if I'm right, I will feel so vindicated. Because something's brewing.
Well, I'm curious.
Something's rotten in Denmark.
I'm curious to hear what you think it is.
You want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
I think Carrie Seagal's daughter.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll see what comes of that.
Very interesting. Okay. Oh, yeah. I that's interesting. I'm surprised you got that. Back at the police station, the captain of the force is pleased because there hasn't been any violent crimes reported since Seagal took to the streets. Egg brings up that, well, yeah, except for all the violent shootings that he himself has been committing, Seagal, that is.
That is a good
because
point.
He's literally executing criminals in the street like fucking Kira in Death Note. Not the movie, the show.
The basis of the U.S. justice system is not important anymore, you know?
No, but I like Egg. Egg, he's hard-boiled. He's a man on the street. I like him.
Just, you know.
He's like one of the only likable characters in this whole movie. He brings up now that criminals are just moving carefully instead of just like openly. Sorry, someone just called me. Instead of just openly like doing business in the street. So Seagal has just fucking forced them into hiding like the rats that they are. We need, Jewish Samwise Gamgee to drive him out of fucking Ireland. So, what the fuck was I? Where was I? Okay, yeah. Egg says he tried to get info on Seagal from the Pentagon, but he was denied his request. Porter arrives and says, yeah, you'll never get that. He's Black Ops. He's everything sealed. Excuse me. He tells the police that he's meeting with Seagal later that night. The captain asks why, and Porter responds, because it's the honorable thing to do. Isaac, let's talk about honor. What do you think honor is?
Honor. Doing the right thing even when it's hard?
Okay. What does it mean to have a code of honor?
To have a code of honor would be... I don't fucking know. Like,
if you wrote a movie, let's say, just in theory, called it Code of Honor, how would you use that to influence the plot?
I would imagine someone would have a code of honor.
Okay, let me stop you there. If it's just for this line, you'd be correct. Okay, so moving on. Porter and the police hatch a plan where Porter will go in alone, as Seagal demanded, and have the cops nearby on standby to be called in via an earpiece and wire that Porter will be wearing. Inside the Devil's Garden, Porter and Seagal have a little powwow. Crowded, busy nightclub. It's also the head of Mr. Romano's empire, who he himself is present, and he eventually spots Porter on the camera. Now remember that the Romano gang thinks that Porter is the super vigilante, so this is important to them. Porter and Seagal talk about, despite having killed some bangers, Porter still... what the fuck? My fucking handwriting is just atrocious. Porter lets Seagal take all the blame. And Seagal's like, that wasn't... Seagal, he has a weird voice, but I don't know what he sounds like in other movies anymore, so I can't really compare it to anything. He's got kind of sort of like a swaggery drawl to him, like, you let me take all the blame for them killings, boy. So Seagal says Porter has given up all of his vices because he's shocked that he doesn't take the offered cigar Seagal offers him. I bring this up for a reason. Make note of it for now.
Oh, no, the cigar.
Seagal tells Porter that he never went soft. He's just continuing his mission to defend the country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, because he is an honorable man. Because the honorable thing to do is execute people in the streets with no trial because they're bad, according to your fucking thick-necked worldview. Allegedly thick neck. It's probably just a neck.
Neck. He wears enhancements.
Yeah.
He got a neck cream. Plumps him up.
Seagal brand neck cream.
He probably has. He has an energy drink. I don't think it exists anymore, but he sold an energy drink for a while.
Oh, fuck's sake.
I know.
We get very ham-fisted political stuff here, making it ambiguous. Who's the hero and who's the villain? Is it right to shoot people in the street, or is it right to let them continue to be bad guys? Did I mention that Seagal was a Trump supporter? It doesn't matter, neither here nor there. Seagal mentions how he has been a perfect citizen, and Porter was a schlub and a crappy person, and the reason his wife and kids left was because he's an asshole. making Porter the bad guy? Question mark. I mean, your wife and kid leaving because you were a drunk does not dictate your entire life. People turn around. I mean, he's supposedly in the FBI.
Yeah. You could, I mean, people have nuance. You're not either good or bad.
Right.
You could do a lot of good things and be an alcoholic and a, bad father or bad husband, but still, in many ways, be a good person.
Right.
It's not black and white. Okay, sorry.
It's not black and white, but according to Seagal, it is black and white.
Yeah, well, of course.
So Porter tries to summon... and I know he didn't write this, but I guarantee you he fucking looked over that script. I'll bet you a million assholes.
I'm sure there were some edits.
Porter tries to summon the police.
Where are my sunglasses in this script? I need them. I gotta catch a fish.
Oh my god. How long are we in yet? This is gonna be the longest episode
like
ever.
2.5 hours.
I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry.
No, this is just the most calorically dense movie we've covered.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. How is this the most dense? So Porter tries to summon the police, but Seagal says he brought a jamming device, so that doesn't work. Seagal goes to leave, so Porter pulls out his gun. Remember, he's in a crowded club. And Seagal says the chair that Porter is sitting on is rigged, and if he gets up, the whole club's going to explode.
Oh, God.
And Seagal leaves, holding Porter to his chair with the threat of detonation. People in the club are looking at Porter like he just harshed the vibe because he has a drawn gun, which now is just pointed at a crowd of people that Seagal left through. And they're looking at him like, geez, man, why are you going to bring down the fucking vibe?
What is happening?
I don't know. So Mr. Romano and his gang make their move. A fight ensures where Porter has to fight and kill a bunch of goons while staying in his chair, including rolling around with it on the floor. And I assure you, in 2 different scenes, his ass is off that chair. And I wasn't paying particular attention. I caught it out of the corner of my eye.
This is like, what if we did Speed, but he had to sit in a chair?
Oh, the dog's out there barking at something. He's probably fine. Yeah.
He's barking at this movie.
I kicked him out of the bedroom because I don't want him to be too hot and he'll pant the whole time. And I think he's very sad and lonely. Or maybe just listening to me talk about Steven Seagal for an hour is making him lose his fucking dog mind.
Well, in his dog brain, he just hears Daddy locked away in a room screaming and distressed.
Oh, you're probably right, actually. Yeah, so he's in this... Yeah, you're absolutely right. Speed in a chair. Like, he can't leave the chair.
What is this? It's so stupid.
And one of the scenes, one of the goons ends up firing into the crowd and killing some innocent people. This has some weird, vague purpose it gets to later, but I bring it up because those kind of scenes make me really uncomfortable. I have a weird thing. I have no problem watching action movies, seeing these goons get shot in the head and stabbed and all that. It doesn't bother me. I don't like seeing innocent people get killed. I don't mean even if let's say Carrie's a character in this movie. She's involved in it. If she would get shot, I mean, that'd be upsetting. Okay, pretend I care about this movie, first of all. But, I always have a problem with, people who have nothing to do with it getting killed. I don't like it. I like in any movie.
The lady in the bank from Grand Masti.
Yeah.
And that
well,
was
even that's kind of different because that's just unsettling because she has a line even. She has 2 lines. But
right.
In disaster movies, I don't like disaster movies because I don't like seeing this is going to sound really dumb, and people have told me it's dumb, and that's fine. It's just me. It just makes me squeamish and uncomfortable. People getting people who don't have anything to do with the movie. Getting killed, it just makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
It reminds me of people like that in Florida, shooting into the crowd of the club.
Yeah,
I don't. It's
or just how random and unreasonable death can appear.
A character in a movie dying is a character in a movie dying. A passerby in a movie dying is really close to real life, and it. Always, for my whole life, it's always made me super uncomfortable. I've never liked it.
That's very fair.
People love Kingsman. I thought it was okay. Everybody loves... Have you seen Kingsman, Isaac?
I haven't, actually, no.
Okay. There's this scene that everybody goes nuts for, because there's this crazy fight scene in a church they're like anti-gay church. They're super crazy, blah, blah, blah. So they're dickheads, but they're still regular innocent people. And this secret, this spy agent dude, everybody in the club gets mind controlled to go ballistic and kill each other. So it's this secret agent like killing all these people like brutally. And I'm the only one who's like really turned off by it. Like really, I was watching my sister and she was like baffled because I had to turn away because it made me so uncomfortable. Because they're dickheads and they hate the gays and they're like protesters, but they're getting violently killed and they're just bystanders and I don't like it. Like it makes like a lump come into my throat. So I don't know why I devolved into that in fucking Code of Honor, but like just people getting shot in the crowd, like it's a really unnecessary shot. It's like, oh, don't do that. Like I'm not annoyed like I'm annoyed by everything in every movie, but like I'm really uncomfortable by it.
It doesn't add anything. It doesn't even purport to add anything.
No, I don't like it in any movie, but here it's like extra jarring because like you don't need to fucking do that. Let Seagal shoot drug dealers. Come on. It's no, don't do that to innocent people in a club. It's too close to real life. So anyway, I'm sorry about that. I felt that was important to bring up because I feel like I'm the only one who ever says those kind of things about movies because it always makes me so uncomfortable. People always say that I'm crazy. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, my rhetoric aside. So, Porter kills all the gangsters except for Mr. Romano himself, who pins him down under a bunch of metal tables with a gun. Before Egg and the SWAT team arrive to arrest Romano and rescue Porter. Porter tells him about the bomb under his chair, and when Egg looks into the chair, he finds that, there is no bomb. You rascally Seagal. You scamp, you.
Sake.
So, while the aftermath of the shootout is happening, Egg accuses Porter of being too reckless, as, like I said, some innocent people died. 100% correct, Egg. I like Egg. Porter explains the jamming device, and Egg orders him to stick around. The SWAT team leader tells Egg that it sounded an awful lot like there wasn't a jammer. It sounded an awful lot like Porter just turned off his wire. So, see what I mean about the mystery thing? You know, there's still kind of some sort of, what's going on with Porter here? A little bit of mystique. Like I said, it's lame, it's weak, but I need to make this hour and 45 minutes go by a little faster. Trying to find a plot is all I had. So when Egg goes back to question Porter, Porter's left. Because he's in fact going back to his hotel room. He talks to Carrie about how Seagal was his commanding officer in the war, saved his life a bunch of times. He has a little bit of bonding with her again because Carrie's son is asleep with the Porter's son baseball glove. It's touching because this is what touching is in a Seagal movie. And Porter says he has to become Seagal in order to stop him. I want to point out at this point they've killed pretty much an equal amount of people. So he's already become Seagal. So I don't know what you're fucking talking about. The explosion, I guess, might have killed more people, but whatever. Point Seagal. In the morgue, Egg is showing one of the corpses of the random people shot to a senator, because apparently it's her daughter. I didn't know why this scene existed at the time, anytime I had seen it, because I'd missed a throwaway line later. This is just to indicate now this senator is just going to call the FBI. And it also makes Egg kind of more, like, suspicious of Porter, because the senator's like, she's shattered, and she's, like, blaming Egg because now he caught a criminal, he's going to get a promotion, and he's like, I'm not that kind of detective, blah, blah, blah. We're supposed to see Egg is supposed to be more sympathetic here. I know his name is Egg, and that sounds silly, but he's actually probably the best character in the movie. He's the one we're supposed to like the most. Outside the crime scene, Harvey Levin gets a letter from the super vigilante who wants to give him an interview and that it will be ratings gold. Now, this letter, it's entirely typed, including the handmade envelope, like typed from a computer, I have a funny thought here, because Seagal is just visiting. He doesn't, we see him in a hotel room later. So he must have at some point went to a library and like fumbled with his library card in his wallet and like sat hunched over a computer to print out this note on a cute little envelope with ratings gold written on it in like bold text. It like, when you really think about the details that went into him typing up this letter, because like it's formatted. Like just imagine Seagal at a library next to a kid like playing Minecraft.
Just him calling the librarian over like, how do you center the text?
I can't get it to connect to the wireless printer. Can you give me a hand? So, Mr. Romano is being taken to... Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a line. Egg and the cops are reviewing the footage of the Devil's Garden shooting. Important to the plot here to note that you can't see Seagal on the tape. None of the fucking characters point this out, but it is definitely a plot point. Fucking good writing, excellence in writing. They were competing with the fucking Wayans that year for excellence in writing. The captain gets a call that Mr. Romano is scheduled to be taken to county, and he must be protected so that he can stand trial. And by the way, all the police station scenes were filmed at night, I assume in one night, despite the fact that this is supposed to be broad fucking daylight, so good job continuity-wise. Mr. Romano is being taken to a cop car to be moved to county jail. He's in a bulletproof vest, but not a fucking helmet, because it's not like people have been killed by, I don't know, high-powered sniper rifles or anything. So yeah, Seagal kills him by shooting him in the head. We see a Seagal vision shot that show he is literally miles away in a different part of a city. Okay, someone who knows more about guns. If I'm wrong here, tell me. How far away can you shoot from a sniper rifle? He is literally like 8 enormous city blocks away.
Best snipers in the world, maybe 2 miles, give or take.
He is... Okay, he might be 2 miles away. It's such a long shot.
But that's like zero wind, adjusting for the Coriolis effect. That's perfect conditions sniper.
Well, I guess he's supposed to be the best soldier on the planet, so yeah, okay, apparently. Sure.
So is he just dicking around with his vigilante cock in his hand, I guess?
He one-shots Mr. Romano. So Mr. Romano is now dead. Domo arigato, Mr. Romano. I called him Mr. Romano this entire review purely for that joke. I have had the biggest erection waiting to say that line.
I hate you and I love you at the same time, sir.
That's all I strive for. Carrie comes to the police station where she appeals to Egg for help since Porter has gone on to become a villain. More of a villain to combat Seagal. We get a scene where both Porter and Seagal are sitting on the edge of their respective hotel beds, preparing their weapons, watching the mayor give a speech. The mayor says something about how the super vigilante is a menace, blah, blah, blah. The scene is designed to note that both men are sitting in very similar-looking hotel rooms doing pretty much the same thing. More on that soon.
Are they neighbors?
More on that soon. So the FBI is now... The senator who had her daughter killed has called the FBI. We'll get to that in a second. So Egg interrogates Carrie, and she tells him that she's never actually seen Seagal. She saw like the silhouette of him in the back of the club, but she's never actually seen him. And Porter has done all the killing that she's been privy to this entire time. So Egg is kind of piecing something together here. Do you kind of see where they're going with this? They're kind of implying that Porter might be up to something at this point.
I'm still blank. Do they think Porter's the super vigilante?
Egg is kind of piecing some details together.
Okay.
I'm not doing a bit. I know I've even said before I'm not doing a bit and then proceeded to do a bit. But hand to my heart, I don't believe in God. Whatever you believe in, I put my hand to it. I'm not doing a bit about this whole plot thing. So Egg kind of has a theory that Porter's up to something. And to further validate that, the newly arrived FBI agents claim that Porter, they don't know who he is. He's not in the FBI. And after some investigating, the cops figure out that he was indeed a soldier along with Seagal, like he and Seagal talked about earlier. Seagal leads a SWAT team to Porter's hotel room and finds that he's gone. And I swear to God, this is the first time in the entire movie we get Egg's actual name, which is Peterson, because he says through the door. I was really trying to pay attention to listen to it on the third time through, and I swear to God, this is the first time they say it, unless I just blanked out, which did happen a couple of times. So I'm going to keep calling him Egg because his name is Egg. I like Egg.
So Porter is not an FBI agent.
Porter is not an FBI agent. He is now gone.
Okay.
We cut to Harvey Levin going to his interview with the super vigilante. He and his cameraman go into the husk of the burned out strip club, and they meet Seagal there. There's a little bit of banter before Seagal throws a fucking knife into the cameraman's throat. and then kills Harvey Levin.
Okay.
Now, Harvey Levin is a dick. He's a shitty, scummy TMZ-y reporter, but he's not done anything wrong. Or
nothing that would deserve
possibly all of his reporting in this movie has been accurate. He made one bit of conjecture about Porter in the beginning, but otherwise he's been a good reporter. He's just been a dickhead about it. He's been like, come on, give me a story. I'm going to chase that ambulance for a story. He's a dick, but he's not guilty of anything. So now Seagal is just... Seagal, who has been shown to be like I'm an honorable man, Porter.
You might say he has a code of honor?
Yeah, you would say he has some kind of code of honor. Yeah, they should have called the movie Code of Honor. That would have made more sense.
I'm starting to doubt that he has a code of honor.
Yeah. Well, not anymore, because he just killed a reporter, which you don't... even shitty reporters, like, killing reporters, that's the thing. Like, that's what led to the mob being taken down in this country in the mid-'90s. Like, the mob basically got away with anything, and then, like, somebody killed a reporter, and people were finally up in arms. Like, that's the last straw. You don't fucking kill reporters. You just don't, especially in war. Like, that is a fucking... That's like, you don't kill medics, you don't kill reporters. Because it's very fucking shady to kill a reporter. Their job is to make sure you're not there to kill innocent people. So, even though he's a scumbag, not guilty. It's an awkward sort of change with Seagal just deciding that... Also, the cameraman didn't do shit. He's just a cameraman. But anyway, 20 minutes left in the movie. Who gives a fuck? Porter calls Egg, telling them that he has deduced that the mayor is Seagal's next target. And we see that Porter is lighting a cigar as to achieve his quest to get perfect Seagalness. He's started smoking again. He tells Egg to trace the call and mentions that the Harvey Levin show has just gone off the air. I forget Harvey's actual name. It's like Jerry something. So this is where shit's about to go into confusion overdrive. So based upon no evidence that the viewer sees, Porter knows that Harvey Levin is dead. Keep that thought in your head. And what we've been getting to, and this is what Egg is putting together, and he's about to put it together fully, is that Porter and Seagal are the same person. This is what the viewer has now been led to believe. And okay, let me get to the... Hang on. Next scene. At the crime scene where Harvey Levin was murdered, Egg and the FBI trace the call. The cops can't find the mayor because he's banging the leggy redhead. Egg gets a call while he's scoping out the crime scene from Lady Detective, who looks at the files and basically confirms all the facts we know about these two guys so far. And, okay, hand on my heart, for now until the end of the movie, no more bits whatsoever from me. I'm just total facts. I'm gonna poke fun, but no more bits. I know I'm famous for my bits. Until the ass end of this review, nothing more. I really need to understand, and I need you to understand, because the plot now makes no sense anymore.
I can't accept this version of the movie. This is...
Lady Detective confirms that Seagal was straight-laced in the military, has a bunch of medals, and he's missing, presumed dead. Porter, on the other hand, was ejected for drunk disorderly conduct and disobeying orders. That's a no-no in the military. Both of these facts you already knew, based on their conversation. This confirms the conversation they had in the Devil's Garden. So Lady Detective points out if the roles were reversed and it was Porter catching Seagal, this would have been much easier. And then Egg finds a cigar butt in the alley. He flashes back to how he and Porter met, where Porter found Seagal's cigar butt in the water tower in the first scene. And then he flashes back to the entire movie and puts it together in his head that Porter and Seagal are the same person.
No.
And there never was a Seagal. And we even see all the Seagal scenes as if he wasn't there, like Porter's in the club by himself. And he's the one he kills Harvey Levin, and he kills the guys in the beginning with the cocaine. But if you think about that, the movie then doesn't make any sense. It's not like a movie like, let's say again, for example, The Usual Suspects, where when the twist happens in the movie, you can go back and see, they show all the pieces fitting into place, and you're like, oh my god, that could have been who fucking Kaiser Soze was. and like it makes sense. Whereas this, when you put the pieces together, no, that there was no Seagal. It gets worse.
Well, and the beautiful thing, Kaiser Sose is not portrayed until you find out who he is.
And even then, it's still not... It's not clear that he is even Kaiser Soze, but it's done brilliantly.
Right.
It's fucking brilliant, and it's well written, and it's well crafted. And yeah, you don't know who it is until it's too late. Whereas now we know... So now, from now, at this point on, and the way it's revealed to the viewer is that Egg... Because Egg has always been like the rock of this movie. Like, he's hard-boiled, straight-laced, no-nonsense, like, hit-the-street police work kind of guy. So we're meant to believe that his word is law. Like, when he says something, we believe it. Like, as the view, I'm not saying like we're supposed to believe it and he's an idiot. Like, as the viewer, this character is who we're supposed to take the word of, because there's no mystery around him. He's our straight man. He's our straight-laced detective. So now in this movie, when I talk about Seagal, you have to believe that he's not there. This leads to many problems, as we will see. So it's like, have you ever seen or read A Scanner Darkly?
No.
A Scanner Darkly, the basic plot is about a cop or a detective, I don't remember, is investigating a drug dealer who this drug is so powerful. It's actually himself. This is not a spoiler. This is on the dust jacket. Like, he's investigating himself, but the drug is like so strong he doesn't even know he's investigating himself. And that's kind of what they're going for here, that there never was... Like, Porter is not being nefarious, he's just kind of, like, shell-shocked and crazy. So he doesn't know that he's chasing Seagal is kind of what... It's never explained well.
So wait, Porter and Seagal are the same person, but, like, multiple personality disorder?
No, it's not explained. I think that's what they're going for. What? It's either that or Egg thinks that Porter is just a crazy guy who's decided to start killing people and then also chase himself?
What?
I don't know. Oh. Either Porter is crazy or Porter is crazy. That's all we can... Like, either way, we're supposed to know that Seagal doesn't exist, right?
Okay.
So as if to confirm that theory, that Porter has been Seagal, we see the mayor is banging the leggy redhead, and the door opens, and it's Porter. And Porter shoots the mayor, and then the redhead. So he's doing what Seagal would have done and what he warned the police that Seagal was going to do. He called Egg to tell him, like, hey, Seagal's going after the mayor. But now he is Seagal. He's been Seagal the whole time, so I guess he warned Egg about himself that he... Oh my god, is this a Christ myth? Did he become himself to save the world from himself?
No.
I didn't write that joke. I just kind of put that together. Wait, is that the thing? Is that what's happening? Because the story of Christ is God sends Christ to save the world from sin. That really is kind of the fault of God himself. But Christ and God are the same person, so he sends himself on a suicide mission to save the world from himself. But anyway, let's not get into religion. I don't. Now I'm kind of wondering if that's what they're going for, a Christ myth. Oof.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So yeah, after Porter shoots the mayor, he goes up to the roof where Ghost Seagal, I guess because Seagal's not real, Seagal's in Porter's head, remember, is there. So they have their final confrontation on the roof, and Seagal is clearly there, unless we're supposed to believe that Porter's having a hallucination. Seagal even says that somehow everyone's thinking that you're me and I'm you. Nobody at this point has fucking established that to Porter yet. So if Seagal is in Porter's head, even if Seagal is not in Porter's head, neither of those characters would know that everyone else thinks the roles are reversed. But people don't think the roles are reversed. They think Porter and Seagal are the same person. So that just makes it more confusing. Because now they have a fucking knife fight. So what the fuck is happening? Is he just up on the roof having a fight with no one? Is this Fight Club?
I guess it's a metaphor for his
Seagal gets into a martial arts pose, which I rolled my eyes at because he's fat and old.
Yeah.
And they have a fight, and then they pull out knives and have the equivalent of a sword fight, only with knives. And this all happens in near darkness, so it's just shitty shot, and it hides the fact that Seagal is old and sucks.
Yeah.
So then the funniest thing in the world happens, because like a mile away, a helicopter that has the FBI guys in it approaches, and seeing it, Seagal wordlessly and immediately runs over to a skylight and shoulder tackles his way through it to fall like 20 feet. It just lays on the ground motionless. Like, his awkward shoulder tackle is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I find this scene. It's near the end of the movie. It's like the last 10 minutes, and watch it. It's fucking amazing. It's 10 seconds, but it's so awkward. It's awesome.
I need to watch the end of this movie now.
Yeah, you really do. It's not badass. It's like if I tried to jump through a skylight.
Right, yeah.
It's not badass in any way. He's so lame. So the FBI have Porter pinned down, and he runs away from the helicopter, and they miss all their shots because they're not Seagal, and they're not crack shots. So Seagal pulls a chunk of glass out of his hand. Now, I guess Porter imagines him doing that because Seagal's not real, right? I'm not doing a bit. This is my train of thought at this present time of the movie.
I'm with you.
And then Seagal plants a bunch of C4 bombs around this, like, they're in like a giant boiler room. It's never really explained, whatever. What is Seagal's endgame? Taking out does he exist, does he not exist? Why is he blowing up this building? I mean, is he here to kill the mayor? Why was he on the roof? The mayor was downstairs, but Porter killed him? Why did Porter kill him? That doesn't make any sense, unless he's Seagal. So Porter is the one setting the charges, but he is imagining, for the sake of himself and the viewer, that Seagal is setting the charges? I don't know.
Yeah.
Porter is stalking the room looking for, I guess, himself? And at this point, they now have the same hand wound, because Porter got shot in a different scene, doesn't matter. They both bandage it, because they guess to point to them being the same...
Right, okay. More evidence.
They intersect again. Seagal mentions everyone hates Porter. His family, the police, his country, but he has to kill Porter first. Point of order here? Why? What about these two leads Seagal to want to kill Porter so badly? If Seagal is a manifestation of Porter's, is he just something he hates about himself? Is Seagal like the manifestation of Porter's guilt? Again, I keep mentioning it because it's really fucking important. I'm not being funny here. I know this is one of my typical bits. I'm really trying to understand because it doesn't make sense.
Is a rat's nest.
Recall, if Porter is Seagal, what the fuck is Seagal then? Is he like the long buried memory that Seagal was? Because, okay, Seagal's character's name is Sykes. Porter is supposed to be Sykes now. Like, that is the twist, is that Egg's like, oh my god, the real Sykes is dead, and Porter has been Sykes all along. So Seagal, who is supposed to be Sykes, is like, was he the real Porter who is now like a memory in Seagal Porter's head? Is he like a spirit that's made of guilt? I really don't know. And they're like having a knife fight, and like, he's getting stabbed. Porter gets like sliced open. And by the way, at no point in any, and I mean any, fight scene in this movie does Seagal ever look bad. He never takes a punch. He never gets shoved. He never misses a blow. He looks like world's largest air quotes here, badass the entire time.
I'm sure
the only fuck up is him diving through the window of his own power, of course. He didn't get thrown. I guarantee you that if we saw his contract, that is a rider in it, that he has to look like a quote-unquote badass. Because
he probably uses the words badass.
He gets in every hit. He knocks Porter over. He generally makes Porter look like a punk bitch. And remember, Porter's killed just as many people as Seagal has, more or less, at this point.
Yeah.
So, imagine my fucking surprise, then, when they're fighting in the boiler room, the FBI chopper shines a light in through this crummy-ass, dirty, broken window onto Seagal. Nobody in that fucking chopper can see him. No fucking buddy. You couldn't see him with a goddamn telescope through that fucking window. But Seagal decides in that moment that what he has to do is blow up the hotel and himself.
Even though he doesn't exist, but okay.
But, so, we see Porter, like, realizing what's going to happen and escaping, but Seagal blows himself up. But isn't Seagal in his head?
Yeah,
so
wait, what?
Seagal's the one who sets off the blast, right?
To blow himself up, but not
Okay,
Porter?
even if Porter is in his own head, what? This doesn't make sense in any context of the movie. Any context, none. There's no part of it makes sense. I cannot figure it out. It gets worse.
No.
Next day, outside the building, there's a body being pulled out. The police captain says the dog tags indicate it's Seagal. Now, at this point, recall that Egg put together that Porter was actually Seagal, his character, blah, blah, blah. So, this confirms that Egg was right. There was no Porter. Porter and Seagal were the same person.
So both Porter and Seagal should be dead.
There's only going to be one body because there never was a Seagal. That body is Porter's body. I know this. If this is hard to follow, I apologize. I'm really trying to explain it the best way I can. This is not a white chicks thing.
Porter and Seagal in this were one person, and that one body is now dead.
And the Porter body was the real body, but he was not William Porter. He was Richard Sykes, who was Seagal's character. Seagal in this movie is a manifestation of Porter's head, according to Egg, who is our reliable narrator.
Got it.
So Egg tells Carrie that, hey, there never was a Porter. It was Seagal all along. I'm sorry. Carrie thanks him, but tells her that, hey, William Porter saved my life. I don't care what you say. And he says, yeah, don't lose any sleep over it. Toots. So Porter / Seagal was a killer, not a savior, so she shouldn't mourn him. Egg reprimands her because she doesn't believe him. He says they only found one body, which proves Seagal and Porter are one of the same. So fine. Carrie leaves, and her son shows her that he has Porter's baseball glove. And the son says that Porter just gave it to her, but he has to ask her if he can keep it. So she kind of smiles and tells him yes, and she walks off into the distance while Egg kind of looks at her suspiciously. So Porter is alive. Because there is a body in the ambulance, which means they're not one and the same, which invalidates the last 20 minutes of the movie. So this raises many questions. So who the fuck is who? Why did Porter kill the mayor? Why did Seagal know stuff he shouldn't have known if he only knew it if he was in Porter's head? Why? What? Why? What? I looked at like as many reviews for this movie as I could find, and all anyone says is, "Oh, the twist sucks. It's no good." No one explains that it fucking invalidates the entire movie.
Oh my god!
I cannot figure it out. I can't fucking believe I'm saying this. I urge you, dear listener, watch Code of Honor. Try to figure it out because I can't. Okay, in real life, I really hate myself. Like I have terrible self-esteem issues. But I've kind of figured out over the years I'm fairly intelligent. I give myself enough credit to know that I have slightly above average intelligence than the average person. I can't wrap fucking heads or tails around how any of this makes sense. So either I don't get it, I missed something crucial, or the movie's terrible. And I wish I could just say, oh, the movie's terrible. But it's written so fucking confusingly, I really can't suss it out.
Yeah.
I might watch it again to try and see if I can get it.
I gotta figure it out.
Nobody else on the internet seems to be bringing up the fact that this like invalidates the last bit of the plot, which is supposedly the most important part of it.
Yeah, this is weird.
Like I said at the beginning, I'm not even that angry because I don't know where to direct my anger.
I'm surprised.
It's like pouring a bucket of maraschino cherries on a sundae, but the cherries are actually nails. That was the last line I wrote because I was so infuriated and trying to figure out who to be infuriated at.
I wasn't surprised at this entire movie until there actually were two people. The entire time I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't see it coming, but I get it.
No, that last scene where Porter's still alive, it validates all of it. Because if it was just one person, okay, it's a shitty Shyamalan twist. Who cares?
Yeah.
You have your action scene, but I mean, of course, the action scene makes no sense if Seagal's not real.
Right.
If that was
Still,
really the
I could
case,
swallow that.
Porter would have to have a
swallow
duel
all
with
of
like Egg or somebody on the top of the thing. That would have made more sense because here, let me write a better ending for Code of Honor. Everything happens the same. Well, assume that I have a fucking stroke, several strokes in the beginning of this movie, and I've taken leave of my senses. Egg. Everything leads up the same way, except at the end, when Egg puts together that they're one person, that's actually true. There is no Seagal. Egg goes to the final confrontation where Porter's there, and Porter's like, he's like, man, I'm crazy. The war made me crazy. My wife and kids are dead. I was lying about everything. Woo, I'm crazy, Porter. And he has a fight with Egg, who is supposed to be our, like, kind of protagonist. And in the fight, he's like, in the silhouettes, he's switching between Seagal and Porter, and, Egg kind of shows off that he can fight. That still sucks, because it's tropey as hell, and everybody's done it. It's better than this. It doesn't make any sense. You can still make Seagal, that you can still fulfill Seagal's rider of looking like a badass. When Egg gets the upper hand in the fight, he's fighting Seagal. Boom, lands a punch. In the shadows, flies back. It's not Seagal, it's Porter again. Seagal still looks like a badass. Accomplish that contract rider. Bam. Movie ends. Porter wins. Porter gets him pinned down. He blows it up. Or, excuse me. Egg gets him pinned down. Porter blows the place up. Egg escapes. End of the movie. He's like, oh, man, you know what? The police really aren't that bad after all. And that Porter sure was crazy. And he killed all those people. Fine. Done. I fixed it. But no. Yeah. No. They've... And I write a lot of stuff down, folks. I just riffed that. I didn't plan that. I didn't plan any of that. It's not hard. It's not hard really to write an action movie. There are good action movies
in our heads.
Terminator, excellent movie. Terminator 2, astonishingly even better. Predator, good movie. Die Hard, excellent movie. Die Hard's a fucking classic. What's this? Rambo 1, great movie.
Yeah.
There's good action movies. If you want to call, I know it's a comic book movie, the newest Avengers movie, it's fucking awesome. There's good action. You can write good action. You can even write mediocre action. It takes real fucking talent to write terrible action. Because you have to not care, or care so much that you fucking lose your ability to write. I'm done. I can't. This is an hour and 54 minutes. I'm fucking suzzled. I'm fucking suzzled.
So that's the end. Credits roll.
Yeah.
So okay. So I was wrong about Carrie being the daughter.
Oh yeah, no, she's just a hooker, a stripper.
Oh, okay.
She's just a stripper.
Oh, I thought I had that one.
They kind of set up a romance between her and Porter that never goes anywhere.
Yeah, I guess that would have been weird in retrospect. Yeah. All right.
I just
Jesus.
It gives me such a headache because I really like to, my purpose in life, I have no purpose. I want to know things. I want knowledge. I crave it. And when I can't figure something out, it really drives me crazy.
Well, I'm glad I could treat you to this amount of suffering this week.
This one hurt. This one really hurt.
Yeah. Well, I'm very pleased. And next week, I will be suffering through the Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas. And it's not as rage-inducing as this movie was for you, Larry. But just every second is an example of how not to make a movie.
I believe that's the text I got from you, yes.
It's oh god, it's just drenched in crap. But if you're tuning in, that's going to be episode 8. That'll be out next Sunday, so stay tuned for that. Do you any final thoughts, or we?
No, I'm tapped out. I have said more about this movie than anyone's ever said. I think I just, oh boy. If my volume was a little high, ladies and gentlemen, I got a brand new microphone and the aneurysm blossoming in his brain. Yeah, I got a scissor arm for it. I'm really terrible at this kind of thing. So if my stuff sounds off, I'm sorry. No. Hardick will fix that in post. Yeah, and all of my this movie drove all the other thoughts out of my head. I kind of feel like catharsis having got that out now. I swear to God, I feel better. I've had a really shitty week. Shit. And like, yeah, I've gotten it out, and now it's like I put it to the world. I pose it to you. Because if people watch this movie and tell me they can explain it to me, and I'm wrong, and I just missed it, I'm fine with that. I really am. I want it to either be right, or I want to know that I'm right. That's all.
I'm taking a crack at it because I need to see this. I usually don't want to, but I can.
Because I'll tell you what, you can just listen to my review to get all the relevant details about the plot points about Porter. I'll find the minute mark for you where the whole ending sequence starts with like the phone booth, and just give it to you from there, and you can tell me.
Okay. That'll be a bonus episode where we try to figure it out together, having both seen it.
Yeah, for real.
All right, well, if you made it all the way, this is the Bowels of Netflix.
It's such a long episode. I'm so sorry. Listen, even-numbered episodes, folks. Make this the last odd-numbered episode you listen to. Listen to even-numbered episodes only.
Beard, you slag. You miserable slag.
Oh, I am miserable. I do feel better. I really do. That's so sick.
Now, I'm so glad I got this movie explained to me. And I feel a catharsis, too, because having seen the first 5 minutes, I was just so curious about where it could go and how bad it could be, and I feel a sense of relief, even though I have more digging to do. It's been a ride, for sure.
Oh, man.
But we are the Bowels of Netflix. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you come back next week, and every week after that. We're going to be live every Sunday. And yeah, you can find us on the internet. We're on Facebook and Twitter. They're both at Bowels of Netflix. Well, Twitter's at Bowels of Netflix. Facebook's just Bowels of... whatever, you can fucking social media, probably. If you want to email us, it's bowelsofnetflix@gmail.com. Remember, that's bowels, not bowls. Larry, how's the bowls of Netflix Gmail doing?
Well, I hope that soon it's going to start filling with Code of Honor theories.
We'll get some explanations there.
I haven't checked it because I've been busy tacking red lines and pictures to my wall like a fucking serial killer.
If you like what we're doing here, make sure to subscribe to us on whatever podcast thing you're listening to us with, and give us a rating, 5 stars, 10 stars, thumbs up, whatever it is, because we're awesome. And yeah. What else? Kevin MacLeod did the music that's probably playing right now, and all the other music you hear in our lovely episodes.
Yeah, it's good
stuff.
You
can find him stuff on incompetech.com, and if you check out the detailed description of the episode, you could see the individual song names and the Creative Commons license description.
It's also a great name. That's like the name you and I would make for a company, Incompetech. It's like just on the line of insulting. I love it.
He must be a smart man. He also, if you want to download unique types of graph paper, that's also a service he offers on his website. He has like hex paper, so you could use that for planning like D&D games, but he has other different kinds of graph paper that I guess is more mathematically based. It's an interesting thing. Check out the website. It's good stuff. But yeah, that's it for us tonight, and we will see you next week.
Thank you very much for listening, folks, and send me your theories. I must know.
We must know. All right. Good night and good luck.
Smell you later.